Hey, Steve, we're live.
Great.
We're alive, and we're live on Facebook right now.
Yeah, you like almost freaking died yesterday because of coronavirus, right?
Okay. All right, I didn't almost die, but what happened was I woke up yesterday morning and it had, like, all of a sudden my throat was kind of sore. I was feeling, and as the day went on, I was coughing, and then my head, everything just felt really, really stopped up, and I just wasn't feeling good. I was getting tired, and I had COVID-like symptoms.
So, like allergies?
No, I know the allergies don't ever present that way.
Oh. Okay.
But I'm good now.
Right. So you're over it.
I'm over it. I'm over it.
So
Whatever the thing was.
So you can sell shit this week is what you're saying.
I absolutely can. I've got a new promotion I'm going to be announcing probably tomorrow. Yeah. I know.
Really? Oh, yeah, the whole promotion thing.
Yes.
That's like the whole Daytona 1 deal, right?
Yeah, doing a deal with Daytona 1. It's going to be a way for people to get some free product from Daytona 1. So I haven't announced it yet. I'm working on all the little details of just how to sign up for all the things, and just need to get a little once over there. So, but I am excited that we are, there's such a huge opportunity to be promoting right now.
I'm excited you didn't die from corona yesterday.
Thank you. Yeah, I cured myself.
With what?
Essential oils and adaptogens in my teas.
Fucking essential oils.
Yeah, I made you a. So I have to sell.
Oh my God.
Steve and I don't
She's
agree.
a witch.
There are many things that Steve and I do
She's
not
a
agree
white
on.
witch.
I am all about some essential oils,
Yeah,
and
she's a white witch.
yeah, whatever. And I'm a healer. No, I can read.
You're a fucking white witch.
No, it's because I've been
seriously.
been watching The Outlander, so I'm a healer.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I got
So I
you.
got my whole Outlander thing going on,
Yeah.
or Down Under. I don't know.
I've been watching Tiger King. I'm a healer too.
I made it halfway through the first episode, and I just, when I saw that there was more than one episode, I knew that there were hours of my life that I was never going to get back if I watched that.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
Enough about that. So, anyways.
Yeah. So I guess, so we're still talking about essential oils, though, and
You are.
I made you something today, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
I did, and to stop making it itch on your skin, and is it working?
So far, so good. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Would you like to show off your rollerball right there?
Oh, Jesus Christ. A rollerball of
Essential
oils for my skunky allergy.
Oh my gosh, that's gotten so much better in the last hour since I made that.
Oh my God. Yeah, I said you're a white witch.
I'm a white witch. All right. Hey, I'm going to jump on the computer here because then we'll be able to see questions and stuff.
There you go.
So, you guys, feel free to, we're on a phone camera here, but I've got a laptop over here, so I'll be looking for questions. But drop us in any questions that you guys have. We've been having so much fun with this show. I love answering the questions. And of course, oh, you know what? I forgot to grab my index card, so I'm going to have to do that so that I can jot down the
You're not leaving me here alone on video, so.
Okay, well, then maybe when you go get a beer, you can go grab me a stack of index cards or a notebook or something.
I got a while.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
I need paper.
Much.
Okay, I'm going to have
and
to
there's
start
my
taking
buddy,
notes over
Rockin'
here.
Randall.
Yeah. Oh, is Randall here? Yeah. Oh.
No, Randall's not here. Randall's actually doing a live show right now on Facebook.
Is he really?
Yep. So if you want to watch something other than me and Kate, go and watch Randy Permenter.
Yeah, you know what? I'll go ahead and drop the link in.
Yeah, drop the link in.
Even though that is like taking people
dude's
away from our
badass. He
show.
plays at my Christmas party every year, and he's awesome freaking dude. So.
Well, if nothing else, somebody could also go later on. I mean, later on and check out.
He'll be there for 2 hours, so we'll probably be here for about an hour.
Oh, look at that! It says
boring
live
the shit
right
out of
here.
everybody.
So I'm gonna see that we're not boring to people.
Well,
Otherwise they wouldn't be here.
Right.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah, they wouldn't be here. Duh.
So now you're gonna try to drop the link in, right?
Oh, I will, but I've just got to navigate there.
Okay.
So I've been on a virtual conference all day. I've had a virtual summit that I'm in, and so that's where I've been at for yesterday and today.
So you've been trying to sell shit on a Sunday, or learn how to sell shit on a Sunday?
No, it's all about learning how to sell shit.
I got you.
Honestly, it's not about selling shit. It's honestly more about how can we get our message out there to add better value to the world. That's truly what it is.
Yeah.
It's truly what it is. Because is it really, like even what we do at Crate Insider, is it really about just selling oil? No, it's about trying to sell you the oil that's going to give you the best performance and keep you from making other mistakes.
No, I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Or whatever the thing is that we happen to be selling at the moment.
Yep.
So, which is always something, for sure.
Of course.
All right, there we go. Oh, wow. All right, so Mark says cheers. David says hi. Ravonda, okay. Okay, we miss you so much.
Yeah,
we miss
trivia
you.
time.
And Tyler's here. So you guys go ahead and drop in your questions and feel free to share that we're live. You're welcome to click like the share button, and you should be able to, we can share it to other places.
Kate might give you a free t-shirt if you share that we're live.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. Or I could just be, greedy, the little greedy white witch, since you called me a white witch.
Or she'll send you essential oils. For whatever ails you.
I don't even sell essential oils.
If you got the COVID, she might give you some essential oils.
I do not. Yeah.
Donald Trump approved.
Wow. What did you think about the disinfectant? That was actually one press conference I didn't watch this
good
week.
God. He didn't say that shit. I mean, people are like...
I know. I agree.
It's typical news media.
I agree.
Bring the dude down he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't, so...
No, I totally agree. I'm trying to share this to our groups here, so we're and let's see if we had any questions beforehand. No, because I just posted this an hour ago. That's a current event, is that we are here in North Carolina. We're extended till May 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we got one of those governors that's about like a Gavin Newsom.
No, I think, I think really the deal is that it's just a ploy. It's a ploy. It's a ploy. We all know that.
Turning into.
It's if they open up too early, then it's like, hey, you guys can work and put taxes in and get your state back on track. But if they show that they're totally freaking pathetic and can't
open up, then they're getting a bunch of Fed money.
Please help us.
Exactly.
Please help us.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. All right. So it looks like we do have a question.
All right, sweet.
Question here is from Scott, and Scott asks, Carb Spacers, ? Big track, little track, angled, what are your thoughts on choosing the right carb spacer? Well, and Scott, I can't remember if you've got a 602 or a 604, so that is helpful too, because there's a difference between which one. So why don't you start with 602s?
I mean, I don't know of any angled spacers for 602s. And angled spacers absolutely 100% frickin' suck anyway. They make no power. They don't do shit. It's a Band-Aid over a problem. So that being said, the best spacer that we've ran across is the HVH spacer with the center divider for a 602. As far as 604s go, the best happy medium we've found is the 5/8 spacer that HVH makes. It's kind of like... And I say happy medium, it's happy medium between torque, horsepower, whatever. Yeah, you can probably produce more top-end power with a 1-inch spacer, but you're going to produce a little bit less low-end torque. You can produce more low-end torque maybe with a 1/2-inch spacer, but you're going to produce less top-end power. So that 5/8 range is about what we found to be most effective.
Great. See if there's other questions. Haven't quite gotten here yet. So let's see.
Now, if you're stuck, here, I actually had this question this week. So if you're like an IMCA country, which would just suck if you were, because IMCA sucks. But if you're an IMCA country,
CrateInsider is not responsible for the statements of the guests on our show.
Well, if you're an IMCA country, which would suck, because IMCA sucks, I'll repeat that, then they've got an option between some piece of shit plastic spacer that you can buy from, I don't know, Summit or some shit like that.
Speedway, because they're a sponsor.
Or who? Well, yeah, Speedway. Speedway, Summit, same shit. So anyways, so you can buy some piece of crap 1-inch open spacer. What we found in our testing is that some spacer is better than no spacer. And most of this is from asphalt testing that we've done, or asphalt race car testing we've done. So I would definitely run their 1-inch open spacer, even though it's a total piece of shit. Now that being said, keep an eye on those pieces of crap because they warp like crazy. So, I don't know, buy 5 of them and change them when you change your spark plugs. Because they warp like hell, and then you're going to just have all sorts of problems.
Great.
So
here we say, David says, Florida Pinellas Park. I don't know if you're contacting us from there. Todd Klyman says, hello from Klyman's Compound.
Yep, I know the Klyman's Compound out there in California.
Yeah, Tim Pato says, loved your story about Bobby Hogue. So you want to tell everybody else. Share with class. Steve.
Well, no, I mean, when I grew up in California, and I raced for the first. Well, I mean, I raced when I started racing when I was 16. I raced until 1994 in California, so you might as well say, you know, the better part of my early part of life. And so when I grew up out in California, we didn't have Freddie Smith, we didn't have, you know, Ronnie Johnson, we didn't have Jeff Purvis. Now, when we were young and racing back then, we idolized these guys because we'd see them in national magazines. Obviously, we couldn't see them on, you know, the internet because the internet didn't exist at the time. We couldn't see them on Dirt, for instance. So when we grew up, our idols were guys who were local to us and guys who we grew up watching. Well, long story short, Bobby Hogue was always one of my idols. I liked the way he raced. I liked the style that he raced. He was pretty much win or break. And that's
go big or go home?
Go big or go home. And he he's still alive. So,
but he may not be actively racing.
He's not actively racing at the moment. His son is Bobby Hogue IV. But
wow.
Yeah, Bobby Hogue III is probably one of, if not the best race car drivers I've ever been with, or ever raced with.
Wow.
If and I said this in what I posted.
I actually didn't see it.
If Bobby would have grown up in Eastern Tennessee, Bloomer might not be the GOAT.
Really?
Yeah. Seriously.
So, okay, so here's a question, because I think I know the answer to it, but sometimes I say that and then I'm wrong. But some of the footage that we've been putting out on the other channel, the Racing Rewind channel, some of that is some of that with Bobby Hogue.
You'll see him in there. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
I'm going to go ahead and drop in a link in case anybody doesn't know, since we've got all this extra time now with because of the coronavirus. Steve actually brought boxes of videotapes to my house, in September. Probably before that, because I had to get all the software and stuff. All those tapes they're all dated.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So I've digitized all of these VHS tapes, and we're putting these races out onto a whole separate YouTube channel called Racing Rewind. But I'll drop a link in so that you can check out Racing Rewind. And so right now it's races from California.
Well, it's old school racing, and I mean, if you go back to when I was racing, let's say the height of my younger days, which would be 1992 when I won that NASCAR Pacific Coast Regional Championship deal. We're talking cars that we were racing were probably about 5 years behind of what we'd have here in North Carolina now.
Okay.
So, but as compared to me going to Australia and racing at the same time, we were still 10 years beyond, above what they were.
Okay.
So it's interesting to see. I mean, more what we were racing back there at the time was more what I would call like a limited late model nowadays. So it'd be more comparable to that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and then plus you got some stock cars in there. There's.
But the racing was phenomenal.
Oh, the racing's great.
I mean, it's like it was I mean, you go to the Midwest.
Well, I'm really excited.
Iowa, Illinois, stuff like that.
Well, I'm excited.
That's what we raced.
I grew up in Iowa, so I just joined a Facebook group that is like Iowa racing from the 70s, 80s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, I think.
Yeah.
And so I just put out a call saying, hey, anybody has videotapes out there, let me know, because
that'd be awesome.
I would love to digitize some of those. And if any of them capture my dad, that would be phenomenal.
Because a lot of people don't know who your dad is.
My dad is Dick Schiltz was originally from Waterloo, Iowa. Of course, he lives in North Carolina now. Well, of course, I don't know why I said of course, not everybody would know that, but Dick Schiltz, he was the number 97, he won a ton of stuff, and so I would be really, really super awesome if
one of the founders of like the modern age of racing, I would say.
Dad's
one of the guys that was like right there on the cutting edge, because he raced the World 100, he went to Florida, he traveled multiple states to go race. So. Yeah,
when I was like in first and second grade, so I'm going to date myself here, but that had to have been, how old are you? It's like 7. So yeah, like 79 and 80, he was going to racing in Florida. That wasn't...
I'm gonna date myself, and then you're like, how old are you? Blah, blah, blah.
No, but I had to think about how old is a person in second grade, because that's when we went to Florida, and
Right.
that's how I figured out what date it was, like,
Right.
because I, whatever.
Of course.
But yeah, and anyway, so there's that, and
Yep.
so it's pretty cool that we was going to Florida back in '79 and '80, and nobody did that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Iowa guys did not do that
Yeah,
back in
that's
the day.
what I'm saying. He's one of the original dudes who, like, paved the way for everybody what we're doing today.
That's right. So let's see. We've got some more things here too, and am I just not on the wrong page because there was more comments before? All right. So why is it not showing all the comments? I got to refresh. But I know I did see where Neil from Hooker Harness, he did say, well, hello, ladies.
I saw Buck come on here earlier.
I
don't know if he's still on, but if Buck's still on, then we mentioned the Daytona 1 challenge thing.
Yeah, we're calling it the Daytona 1 challenge, and I'm not telling you details in Unsealed here today, but I'm planning on having something for you guys tomorrow to be able to explain. It's such an exciting promotion going on between Crate Insider, Daytona 1, and Winning Motorsports Marketing. We're all working together on that, and I'm really stoked.
And the cool part to me is, like, a little bit of effort
Yeah.
can actually win you some stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, you're going to win stuff, for sure.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so here we got, here, so, Lisa says, last thing I thought I would be watching on a Sunday afternoon. You guys are great. I'm very entertained. You should keep this up.
Which Lisa?
Lisa Weber.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's my ex-wife.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
And interesting. Well, and Lisa and I get along, and it's so crazy, Lisa. I was just editing a video from back in the 90s, and it was when Fred was videotaping, and so after the races,
She's
there's this whole section where, like, Steve's getting in and out of the car, and, like, you're there, and Mike is there, and so it's just kind of fun.
I think you're posting it on like Monday or something.
Am I? I don't know. I mean, I had, like,
Pretty sure you
5 of them, and I got edited today.
Yeah, I think it's
so
Monday. Monday that one
super
comes
great.
out, so.
Oh, and Doug likes my hat. And Neil says no reaction. I don't know what that means. Emmett Berry says, I had a blast at Watsonville and Antioch and Merced with you guys.
Absolutely.
So you feel like your whole California clan.
Hey, I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
it's a lot of fun. Yeah, usually we talk about what we're drinking. So you talked about your glass. So tell us what you're drinking today.
Bud Light.
Bud Light? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going full redneck today. So.
Hey, you know what? I am too, because Steve says I have to have alcoholic beverage when we're doing the show. So I made a chilada. And this is with Clamato juice and Bud Light and hot sauce and lemon juice.
All sorts of
and,
crap.
Yeah, it's like
all the stuff.
It's kind of like a
All
Bloody
the
Mary, but
things.
with beer and stuff.
Like all the things.
All the things is what we like to say. But I noticed that this is a glass from Dick's Last Resort. So
oh, it is too.
It is.
That's right.
It is a mug from Dick's Last Resort. I don't know if that'll actually. Oh yeah, as it gets emptier, you can kind of see it. So Dick's Last Resort. We've had some fun at some.
That
we've
came
been
back
to one
from,
in Indy then.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say that came back from Indy then.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember if we went to the one in San Antonio, because I know I've been to that one.
We
but
did not.
We did not.
We hung out on the river walk, and when we went there, we got drunk as shit and staggered down the river walk. Did not fall in the San Antonio River.
No, that was a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we did.
And we liked the Irish pub, and we liked the German restaurant.
Oh, yeah, the German place was freaking awesome. And the Irish pub. Oh, my God.
Oh, I know. We had so much fun.
You ever get a chance, go to San Antonio. That's a badass place.
Riverwalk. I think we're all, I'm really itching to go traveling again.
I think everybody's itching to get out of the damn house. So, I mean.
I know I am.
Traveling to a dollar store right now is a big thrill.
Yes.
Because you don't know if you're going to get the shit or not.
Okay, we got a question here from Paul. Paul says, "What's the proper timing and plug gap for a 602 crate?"
If you're not going to get on a dyno, meaning either a chassis dyno or an engine dyno, then 34 degrees is always safe. So definitely run that. I mean, and I don't care what fuel you're running. I mean, it's always the safe bet. As far as plug gap goes, that's going to be determined by what your ignition system you're running. So whether it's if it's an HEI, like 35 max, if you're going to be running a MSD type system or a fast system, then you can, and depending on the fuel, you can experiment a little bit around, but normally 40 to 42 is our range.
Yes, perfect. Doug Bodgick left in a comment. He said he saw John Silva today.
Oh, sweet.
Told him about the show, and that John says howdy.
John Silva is one of my favorite race car drivers I've ever ran against. I love John to death. him and his wife and that whole crowd there. I mean, they're awesome. Me and John had a lot of good races. As a matter of fact, I think you got something in the queue there from San Jose Speedway.
Yeah.
For the Racing Rewind channel.
I do, yeah.
And I think it like pretty much highlights me and John racing together.
See, I have no idea because I don't.
It does because I looked at it today, but
right, yeah. Well,
but it's in the queue to come up in the next week or so.
Yeah, we are due. Yeah, so I don't know off the top of my head. I didn't bring my content calendar down.
No, so it should be pretty awesome. Me and John raced together a bunch, and he's one of the best guys I ever raced against.
Yeah, cool. Well, and I think that's been such a... How have you felt about seeing some of your old races? Because they're not all wins.
Well, no, and that was the idea of the channel. We're not posting all my wins. We're posting... I mean, now, unfortunately, like a lot of them end up being that way. I shouldn't say unfortunately, but I mean, it just happens to be that like a lot of the stuff that we saved over the years were wins. But the racing itself is just phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you don't like the racing, you're not a racer, or you don't like racing, because I mean, it's you just didn't know who won most of the times until the last few laps.
Well, I think what I've loved about it, part of it has just been, now we live in 2020, and I was just honestly so shocked that you had all of those videotapes, that anybody was videotaping the races back in those, early 90s there.
Right.
So, gosh, I'm really looking forward to seeing some more stuff out there.
You've got one coming up. It probably won't be in the next few weeks. It'll probably be within the next month. But it's it's one that a fan of mine did in California.
I thought that was so cool.
And
yeah, that was incredible editing back then.
Yeah, he edited an entire video, and it's probably close to an hour long.
I don't think it's that long.
I think it's pretty close to that. I mean, let's say 40 minutes, something like that.
I say 15 because I think it's got 2 songs in it.
It's not.
I think
because it goes beyond that.
I'm gonna go 15 minutes.
All right, whatever. Anyways, so it's
we'll find out.
It's like a certain period of time.
Yeah, I don't have
that we disagree on because we disagree most of the time.
But
anyways, like one of my fans like made this deal, and I think she's gonna post it at some point.
I will.
And I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean.
Well, I think the best analogy we can bring is that it was like making a mixtape back in the day, where you had to push the stereo at the right time. So I don't even know how a person did videotape editing back in the day.
I didn't know how he did it then. I don't know how he did it now. So, but anyways, it's phenomenal.
Well, you got to see some editing today.
And you got like some other stuff. It might actually be on that tape where he recorded where we did the whole hat.
Oh, is that where it's at?
I think that's why I'm saying it's so long.
Oh, okay, because it kind of ends.
Yeah, because it was like the regional night in Antioch where I, wrapped up the regional championship, and NASCAR and Winston, and everybody was there to do the whole hat exchange thing.
Yeah, that was really, really cool. All right, so I'm getting more comments here. And let's see, I think, of course, Neil is reminding you about your Stan Lester hat at Dick's Last Resort.
Oh, yeah, my Stan Lester hat.
Yeah, it said, his hat at Dick's Last Resort said, "I love Stan Lester." And if anybody knows Steve and if anybody knows Stan, you know that they are not, they get along cordially, but they're not always the bestest of friends. And they disagree. You and Stan disagree more than you and I do.
Well... Here's the thing, and I'm going to be completely honest, because a lot of people ask me about this, even today.
No, please lie to us. Why would you not be completely honest with us?
Here's the deal. I'm type A personality, Stan's type A personality. Type A personalities do not fucking get along. So, here's what happens. Stan says shit I don't like, I say shit Stan doesn't like, and that puts us at odds.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you can be a Stan guy or you can be a me guy or whatever, and choose your side, choose whoever you think's right. It's kind of like this COVID thing right now. Some people say open up North Carolina or open up the country. Some people say don't. So it's kind of like that kind of deal. I mean, Stan will throw me under the bus in a heartbeat. I'll throw Stan under the bus in a heartbeat. It's just kind of one of those deals. Now,
but you know what? If somebody
when we meet face to face, we do have a mutual respect for each other.
Yeah. Well, and
So
I think if an outsider
I mean,
came
I'm not going to punch him in the face. He's not going to punch me in the face. We're not even going to argue face to face.
No, and I think if somebody came in attacking racing, I think you two would team up. And,
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
And, you know, this is almost like, for somebody to say something about my brother, like, your brother, like I can say, my brother's a jerk, and you're like, you're right, your brother's such a jerk, and I'll be like, oh, you can't say that about my brother.
Well, I mean, you can say Stan's the brother I can't stand.
Yeah, he's like a brother. You are like brothers, absolutely. So. Okay, great. Let me see if I'm seeing any questions. You guys just keep asking questions here, and we don't have any questions. I don't know what's going on, unless I'm just not seeing them because I did this wrong. I don't know.
But do you have any questions?
Do I have any questions? Wow, that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a hypothetical question.
Okay.
And because this is something that came up, I have my Winning Motorsports Marketing group, and I was asking the racers about the things they struggle with. And so this kind of topic came up. I'm going to ask you, as the owner of Hendren Racing Engines,
Yep.
if you have a choice between sponsoring a racer who goes to the track a lot, maybe has some good performances, or someone who's more, not necessarily like the superstar, but they promote a lot on social media, which of those aspects are more important to you?
Well, I mean, to me, that's kind of a double-edged sword in a way, because...
Well, you're a performance retailer, or you're a performance business, so it's a little bit different for you.
Yeah, ultimately you need people to perform.
Right.
So you're always attracted to winners. That being said, not everybody's going to win every race. So I mean, if you'd asked me this 10 years ago, my answer would have been different, but like today... I'm going to say, well, I'm more attracted to the guys who can actually get my name out there and say, hey, I finished third in a heat race. Thanks to Hendren Racing Engines or whatever. I mean, I'm more attracted to that now than I would have been 10 years ago. 10 years ago, when I had Jonathan Davenport driving my shit every weekend and winning every crate race in the entire nation, I was all about the winner.
Right.
Nowadays, I'm more about the guys who will actually say, hey, thanks for what you did, post a video, post a, I don't know, a win pick for maybe the one race they win that year.
No, and I would agree with you. I think when you're in the performance section of race car parts, I think winning is incredibly important because people want to copy the winners. So there's that. I think where we talk about promotion as its own thing, a lot of times that's more affiliated with where it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Or not everybody can win every race.
No,
you just can't.
It doesn't work.
But I have a totally different question for you.
All right.
So I know that you have had a stimulus check project.
Oh.
Would you like to share your stimulus check project?
Well, I didn't bring it with me.
What?
I didn't.
Oh my God, I'm so disappointed right now.
I built a gun.
I know, but your gun even has a nickname, though.
Does it?
It does.
What is it? Oh, the not a Glock.
It's a hashtag not a Glock.
Yeah, so I did one of those polymer 80 builds. So anyways, you get like a lower shipped like directly to your house, so you don't have to go through an FFL. And you get a lower shipped to your place, and fortunately I have a mill and like all the equipment to do this with, but there's other ways of going about building this that you don't need the equipment I have to do it. So I got a lower shipped to the place, or to my shop, finished lower because it's an 80% lower, so it comes to me with, no serial number, doesn't go through an FFL, nothing like that. And then I buy the components to finish the pistol. So that's what I built.
Yeah, and you've shot it a couple times. You're pretty happy with it. It's got
I need to go ram 500 rounds through it. I just didn't have time to do that this weekend. But
I need to ram 500 rounds through it.
No, so far so good. Probably be a couple of little small changes I make to it, but so far I'm pretty happy with it.
Well, and I thought it was fun.
And I did the whole, I outsourced all the components from different places that I knew were high quality, places. Yeah. So Yeah, me and her joked around that it's like my $1,200 stimulus check, but it's actually, I don't know, I probably got like $1,000 in the thing.
Yeah. Ooh, I love this answer. So, Neil popped in here. And Neil, I would love, maybe we jump on a Zoom call or something, because I'd love to share this and maybe I could interview you. But Neil says, it's a really good question, about that choice. And I vote for the ones that are true partners and help truly build your business and produce referrals.
Absolutely.
So that's the biggest thing.
Yep.
I mean, it's all about the end goal. We're going to get there in different ways. So if you're a guy or girl that wins a lot, then you can really push that. But if you're not somebody who's in the winner's circle or victory lane or whatever you want to call it all the time,
if you're not
going to have to work harder.
If you're not, work twice as hard behind the scenes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I can use my son for an example.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it multiple times here on the show, but, the first year he raced was last year, and he hadn't won a race. He hadn't done shit. I mean, this year, of course, we can't race right now, but he hasn't won a race, hasn't done shit. But you know what? He's got a lot of people behind him because of how he promotes his sponsors on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, things of that sort.
Yeah.
His webpage.
Yeah, he's got a website.
I mean, there's plenty of ways to do this,
Yeah.
and that's the guy nowadays that I want.
Yeah.
Like I said, you asked me 10 years ago, totally different answer. But now, yeah.
Well, and I think it's interesting is I think that we need to take ourselves out of ourselves for a moment. And then it becomes, instead of thinking of this as like a selfish thing, like I'm asking for sponsorship or something, but instead is, what is it that I can do for somebody that they can't do for themselves? How can I add value, or who needs my help? And I know something that I'm doing here recently has nothing to do with racing, but on my personal brand page, I have been sharing, causes that are important. Sometimes it's just stuff that I like.
Well,
like restaurants around here, and I'll tag them, and then somebody might look at my post and say, oh, that's right, I forgot about that place. Maybe we'll go grab a sandwich from there.
Well, you and I both witnessed at PRI this last year. And again, back to Alex, but you and I both witnessed at PRI with Alex, where we went to a sponsor of his, and I won't name them.
Yeah.
But, because that's his job. But we went to a sponsor of his, and that individual said, Alex, you're doing, big hug, all that stuff. Alex, you're doing such a phenomenal job on social media. Anything you want, anytime you want it, you've got it.
Yep. Yep.
So, I mean, that's self-evident of what you should be doing for your sponsors.
I agree. Brian Hall thinks we're having too much fun.
We always have too much fun.
Heather's like, Thirsty Kate. And Neil is peace here. So Butch Wilcox says he needs a new 602 power plant. We can hook you up. Either one of us. We've got
absolutely.
602s in various states of however you would like it, type of thing.
I mean, from mild to wild.
Mild to wild.
No, I mean, can't get too wild because we got parameters and rules and shit.
There's that. Yeah. I was just thinking, too bad our show already has a name. From mild to wild.
Right.
I'm kidding. And for anybody who's tuning in, if one thing we're starting to do, we're just, this is just a really weird time for everybody right now, right? So we're experimenting with lots of different things. So like this live show that we do, we love
random.
doing this. We just kind of chat and talk about things, and it's fun. But if you answer some good questions, then we repost those so we don't have to make people watch an hour video.
I mean, that's kind of what we started doing with the whole thing was like, if you got any questions, ask them, because I'm willing to answer them, and you're seeing shit live. I mean, there's no, it's not a canned answer. It's not a, anything other than I'm going to be 100% honest. Plus, I'm drinking beer, so I'm even way more honest.
Are you an oversharer?
I'm a premature sharer.
You are a premature promoter, is what I
am a premature promoter. Trust me.
I'll be telling him about a promotion I've got coming up, and he'll just go start talking about it. I'm like, dude, it's not ready yet. I got a whole plan, and he's a premature promoter.
Well, when you have premature problems, sometimes that just carries on to other things. Just saying.
Oh my god. So anyway, what we're doing with this show, of course, is we're releasing the tech tips. And then for anybody who doesn't want to spend an hour watching a video, like me, I'm not a person who really watches long videos. It's why when you ask me if I've seen such movie or this movie or that movie, I'm all like, no, I haven't seen it.
Shocking how many good movies you haven't seen.
I know, it is. So we are actually taking this audio and we're putting it onto the Racing Insiders podcast so a person can listen to that. So if you haven't heard of the Racing Insiders podcast, I started that like a year ago. I haven't been super consistent. And, I'm just going to admit my faults, but it is what it is. I have a hard time doing all of the things.
Well, yeah. And you're one person. So.
I'm one person, so I still have every intention of doing more interviews, like interviews with manufacturers or people in the industry, and a lot of value. Some of this is just the tech pieces of it, but I think we've gotten through a good part of that. I mean, I've screwed up more interviews because of my tech not working. Oh, I hate that when that happens. Oh, so hate that. To put the work in and then just not have it work out. It happens.
So what's the number one question you get every week? I mean, this is random off the top of my head. This is not a canned question. This is like random.
I don't, it's not that I get so many questions. I think it's when I put questions out like to my groups that the most common answer that I see that is so frustrating to me is this negativity, this idea that sponsorship doesn't exist anymore or that it's not going to be available in this bad time. And the truth is, you know what, if it's like what Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. You are 100% right. And to try to switch people from the negative opinion of or this negative attitude, if you've got that attitude, you're never going to get it.
It's easy to be negative at this point in time.
Oh, come on. I mean, honestly, I'm going to go pre-COVID, and this is the exact same thing I was hearing before. Oh, I heard another one today too. Or there's the other one that I hear a lot is that I don't have time. I would need to hire someone, right?
Right.
There's no such thing as not having time.
No, I agree.
It is about what we want to do with the time that we all have the same 24 hours in a day. And when I have to say no to things, because I have to say no to things all the time, and the easy go-to would be to say, hey, you know what, I really don't have time to do that. Now, there is truth there. I mean, if there is a project that is going to take 18 hours and it needs to be done in the next week, that is something that I can't take on.
Right.
It's just, I do not have enough of a block of time that I can take on that project. But what it does really means is that I choose to not take that project because if I say yes to this, I'm going to be saying no to something else over here. So if this is actually anything that's really actually important to you, you can make time to have it happen.
If you apply that to sponsorship,
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, or people that are already sponsoring you, or people that potentially you want to be sponsors. I mean, a great example is most of us dudes, we take about a 15-minute shit every fucking day at about, 6:30 to 8 o'clock in the morning when you wake up. You know what you're doing? You're sitting there on your damn cell phone. Make a post. I mean, don't take a picture of yourself taking a crap, but make a post. It's not that difficult.
Yeah.
Say, hey, thanks to, Crate Insider, thanks to Daytona 1, thanks to Hooker Harnesses. And say, hey, thank you for what you do for me, and odds are you got a photo on your phone already. Just repost it again. I mean, if you posted it once, repost it again. Do the same shit. I mean, that's not a big deal to do.
No, and I think you really landed on something that's gold right there, and it's something that I'm terrible at. And that thing that I'm terrible at is that repeating myself. I tend to think, well, I posted that one time. And the truth is, nobody sees all the things that you've done before.
No,
so,
not at all.
Yeah, this idea.
I post something on Facebook, and I don't know, like 200 people see it. I got 4,000 friends. So 200 people see it out of 4,000. Well, repost it again. Don't be shy. I mean, shit. Who gives this crap?
Actually, that gave me a great suggestion to give too. So maybe it's that 15 minutes that you are spending that you don't necessarily even have to come up with a post.
You're shitting.
Yes.
During that 15 minutes. That was my scenario. Just to be clear.
Yes. Yes, you're sitting on the toilet and you're scrolling through Facebook. Maybe there's a company now, whether it's in racing or outside of racing, maybe it's a local business that you even thought about, you know, maybe there's somebody you'd even like to approach. Maybe they're just a place that you really like to go to, or they're already a sponsor. Why not take a look at what they've posted and share it?
Right.
That's a really important aspect too. So somebody's already done the hard work of actually creating a post, and you can just add one little comment and click that share button.
Yep.
And you're providing value to that sponsor, potential sponsor, friend of yours, whatever. Plus, you're providing value to your fans and potential. You know, a lot of people ask, well, why is it that I see, you know, some of these guys get product sponsors and they have like mediocre performance, and how do I get my first one? And I think that's a really good question. But I think it's right up there with that same question of how can I, you know, get a job if I don't have any experience, right?
Well,
it's very, very similar to that
yeah,
question.
there's that. And you look at, all right, so you buy an engine from me. Full price, I mean, you buy it. Now, you go and you promote the shit out of the fact that you bought it from me. I mean, you don't have to say full price. I mean, just promote me, tag me in every win photo, or, you know, tag me the fact you finished 5th that night. I don't care. You know who I remember is the people who do that. And you know what I do for the people who do that? Next time, you're probably going to get a little bit of more help from me than what you did the first time.
Yeah. So I say,
I mean, I'm not guaranteeing this. I'm just that's how it works.
Well,
so when I've got the guy who finishes 7th every night in a main event for, you know, 60 races in a year versus the guy that wins 60 main events but never tags me once, you know who I'm helping? The guy who finished 6th or 7th.
I've certainly given sponsorship to guys who I hadn't given anything to, and that they were just good customers of mine. And I've given them some sponsorship
Absolutely.
because they tag me in literally everything.
Correct.
It's crazy. And so at some point, it's the law of reciprocity. And if you feel if somebody has given you more than you've given them, you know, it's like, I hate to say like I owe them or anything, but what I would say is that they've provided me value, and now I am, you know, I'm ready to reciprocate.
I mean, it's to me, it's fairly obvious.
It is.
But,
it is, so pay it forward.
I mean,
well, and you never know, by just going through that process of promoting really anybody or anything. You guys, I do unboxing videos of camera equipment, and I get contacted by other companies that want me to do unboxings of their thing.
Right.
And nothing to do with race car parts. It's just, you know, like, I'm on this journey with you guys too, in a totally different realm, because I want to experiment with it and make sure that I'm...
Oh God, what was that thing we were talking about yesterday? Your friggin' bucket thing.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. So at some point, okay,
I came up with a great name of that.
Mr. Premature Promoter over there.
Yeah.
So we were talking about what is our big takeaway from the whole COVID thing, and so, you know, what did we learn from it? You know, how are we going to make our lives better for the future? And the one thing that I've learned is that, like last night, I was getting those tornado emergency alerts. I had to text you to find out.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Like, you're getting.
We're like live 5 miles away, and I didn't get it.
You didn't get it, but I'm getting those. But the truth is, we get hurricanes here. I mean, we don't always have coronavirus. It's my new name for it, coronavirus.
Right.
But we do get hurricanes. Tornadoes is kind of new. We get floods. We get all kinds of things. And one thing I hated about this whole stay-at-home thing.
We get all the things.
We get all, only some of the
Other
things.
than earthquakes.
We don't get it. I don't know. That's probably, it's other parts of North Carolina.
Right.
Anyway, I hated the fact that I wasn't prepared. So that I felt like, you know, wow, I'm not going to get caught with my pants down again is what I really said about that. So what I did is I decided to buy one of those buckets of the emergency food that is like freeze dried and lasts you for 25 years or something. It has 25-year shelf life on it. It hasn't come because of course it's an 8-week back order, but you know, this wasn't about surviving now. This was truly about the fact that I am not going to get caught unprepared again.
Right.
So when it comes, we're talking about doing a video where we taste test everything, but since I normally do unboxing videos,
shit, I guarantee.
I normally do unboxing videos, but this is going to be a 5-gallon bucket. So it's going to be unbucketing video.
Yeah, it's an unbucketing. That was my contribution to the whole thing. Was the unbucketing, not the
unbucketing.
unboxing.
It's the unbucketing video. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a legit question for you now.
All right, sweet.
Curtis asks, Willie's 2-barrel on built motor. Best fuel pressure to run, and should you slide the carb back?
What kind of fuel?
Ooh, Curtis, what kind of fuel? Let us know. Drop in there.
And as far as like sliding the carburetor forward and backward, we found, now this I'm telling you like this is years ago, probably 10, 12 years ago. We found that obviously, I mean to us at the time, the best place to run it was directly in the middle.
Okay.
Now, there may be data today that I don't know about. I'm going to be honest, I don't. It's not something that is common to us, so we don't test this. It may be better a little bit forward, a little bit backward. I mean, I don't know. But we found it at the time to be best in the middle. That would be a direct question for Willie. And I would call him because you can talk directly to him.
Yep, VP 110 is his fuel.
110. Normally 5 to 6 pounds is going to be your fuel pressure range.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Actually, I wouldn't be able to tell you if that was a good answer or not. But
Well, no, you wouldn't because you have no clue what the hell we're talking about.
I really don't. I mean, I know all of the pieces you were talking about.
Yeah, in general, 5 to 6 pounds. But as far as like where the position should be on the intake manifold, if you're using a 4-barrel intake manifold with a 2-barrel carburetor, with that spacer, you can slide everything forward and backward. I would definitely talk to Willie about that. Call him and talk to him directly. Talk to Everett, and you know you'll get a good solid answer from them because those guys actually they deal with that more than I do, so they've got data where I don't.
Yeah. Ooh, your shirt. You got to tell people about your shirt today.
Oh, the shirt?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if you can see it here. Yeah, you're gonna have to stand up, and there you go. Put them on the glass there. There we go. That's what I do. I drink and I know things. It's a custom shirt for Steve. And,
yeah, that was from probably the greatest character ever made for any television show ever made, which would be Game of Thrones, Tyrion Lannister.
Yes, that is a Tyrion Lannister quote right there. And of course, I made it into a shirt for you. That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
There you go.
Because I asked, hey, Tyrion, why do you drink so much? That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're here today under the gazebo. You can hear probably the wind. And the wind is like whipping around our curtains.
It's nice, though.
It's beautiful. We ended up with some good weather today.
I don't know, it's supposed to be like fucking 60-something degrees today, and it's like way better than that. Oh, it's 65. There we go. Yeah, we're in good shape. Oh, no, 68. Sorry.
Nice. Well, it's beautiful. So Curtis said he's running a Super Sucker Carb Spacer. So. Okay. Yeah. Still talk to Willie. Willie's a dealer for a Super Sucker Carb Spacer.
Yeah, he is. And I would talk to Willie, or you can call HVH. You can call him, talk to Keith or Joe.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Either one of them probably have the information because they work with Willie, pretty extensively, so they can give you the answer as well. I'm sorry, I just can't. I don't want to tell you run it here and it's completely wrong based off of what we did 10 years ago.
I think that's a good idea because things change.
Well, they do, absolutely.
Yeah, things change a lot these days. So you have to let us know. I mean, are you in the what camp are you in? Are you in the let's stay closed till we have a vaccine? Are you in the just open but a little bit at a time? Or are you a like to hell with it, like let's open it all up?
No, I'm like full on Sweden mode.
Yeah, tell us about Sweden.
Oh, I've got a good friend of mine lives in Sweden, lives in Stockholm, and everything is like going freaking great there. You know why? Because they quarantine the people who are sick. They don't quarantine the healthy. So when you quarantine the healthy, all you're doing is prolonging what's going to eventually happen. I'm perfectly healthy, although I think I had this shit back in December from PRI, and so does Kate.
Yeah.
And she might have had it yesterday. But when you quarantine the healthy, I mean, at no time in the history of the world have we quarantined the healthy. This is the first time ever we've quarantined the healthy. So what do? You quarantine the sick. And, I mean, you can go back to biblical times with what's that shit where your face falls off and your arms fall off and shit?
Leprosy.
Leprosy. You know, what'd they do? They didn't quarantine the healthy, they quarantined the sick. They put them on islands. All right, we don't necessarily have to do that because we're not Nazis. But you quarantine the sick, you let the healthy go out and interact. What does that do? That forms herd immunity.
Because I learned that today.
And by the way, I am not a scientist or a professional.
Yeah, I already did the disclaimer that CrateInsider is not responsible for anything you say.
I'm just saying, to me, it's fucking obvious.
Well, I thought it was really interesting. We saw some doctors that were talking about all the natural bacteria on your skin. Again, we're not doctors. We're
correct. I mean, I'm walking around like I've got what do you call it? Staph. I guarantee I've got staph on my skin.
Staph and strep.
I've got strep.
Don't freak people out thinking that you've got
but I've got all this shit on my skin right now.
And the cool thing is I learned that when you have those just little bits of that bacteria and viruses on your skin,
it helps you.
It helps you because it kills any of the opportunistic ones that would show up.
You've got all these assholes saying, stay at home, don't go out, thanking our governors for protecting their lives. I don't need a governor of my state to protect my life. I can make my own choices. Mm-hmm. I can do what I want, when I want to do it, how I want to do it. Thank you to the Bill of Rights for letting me do this.
Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. And
I do not think that we need government telling us how to live our lives, how to protect ourselves. It's called common sense. Now, if you have no common sense, or if you're like immune compromised, stay the fuck at home.
I agree.
Don't go out.
I agree.
But, the other problem we're going to run into here is
everybody's going to get super sick when they open this stuff up because we have no immunity anymore.
You're going to get a bunch of people getting super sick. But then you're also got a bunch of assholes sitting at home collecting their $600 a week along with their fucking unemployment. So when are they going back to work?
4 months.
4 months from now?
Yeah.
So no.
Anyway, it's a mess.
It's a kerfuffle.
Andy says Steve Hendren for my governor. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good deal.
I'll run for governor.
There's a
but you know what? I guarantee you, like most of the population in North Carolina probably won't like me.
No.
Because the first thing I'm doing is banning mopeds. You have to have a frickin' driver's license, and you have to have a frickin' tag to run a moped down a North Carolina road. Because I hate them sons of bitches, and they're coming out right now because it's getting nice out.
Well, what are the DUI people going to do?
Walk. Get their sister Mary Lou to drive them.
Actually, this is the only state when we had drunksicles. Because actually, I would love to have.
We actually call them liquor sickles here. But.
Yeah, but see, I mean, I love the Vespas. It's like I would totally own a Vespa.
Well, if you lived in New York City, it would like be logical to like own something you like zip in and out of traffic in.
No, I totally get that. But like a little Vespa where I could just run uptown or run to the grocery store or something. Something really simple and just kind of zip around.
If you live in Rutherford, North Carolina, you're in my fucking way. Get the hell out of the way.
Well, I agree, but I mean, I think for me, what keeps me from doing it is just for the perception.
Right.
Now, it doesn't stop me from having a pit bike because that was too adorable, and I had to have.
Well, there's that. Yeah.
I had to have my pit bike.
Yeah.
Because a Vespa wouldn't actually fit in my car, but a pit bike will fit in my car.
Right.
All right, I do have a question for you.
Okay.
So Michael asks, is there any power difference between a brand new 604 and if you had one rebuilt?
Oh, yeah, that's like a complicated question. Simple answer is technically no. But we're talking, what day of the week was your 604 built on? There's other people that'll disclaim what I'm saying here, but I don't know. It's like, CNN versus local news. Local news is probably right. CNN's probably fake. So basically, what day of the week was your 604 built when it was brand new? Was it a day when, I don't know, everybody was having margaritas at lunch on Friday? Was it on a Tuesday when everybody was happy to be at work? Was it a day where all the tolerances were stacked not in your favor? So essentially, there could be a difference, yes. Is there? I don't know. I can't tell you. But what we do, as my business, is we do what GM cannot do, and we make them all equal.
So your tolerances are always the same.
Our tolerances are always the same. where GM cannot do that. They cannot reproduce their tolerances within, I mean, it's just a horrible amount of
Well, I don't think we need to. Well, I don't think we need to beat up on GM.
I'm not beating up on GM because they have the best product out there as far as like crate engine stuff goes. I'm just saying I can do what they can't do, and I can make them all equal.
Well, because they're made on an assembly line, and anything made on an assembly line, I mean, is a big difference between being like hand built, like when you take them apart and put them back together. You're doing the same processes whether you're dealing with a $50,000 engine or a $6,000
well,
engine.
I mean, for instance, you can take like a I mean, on a GM assembly line, they're gonna take a block that was machined wherever the hell it was machined at, and you might have, the driver's side of the deck is gonna be 9" 25. The passenger side is gonna be 9" 30. Right? We're allowed to be 9" 19. So for like us, we're putting in 9" 21. Well, so we're gonna make this engine 100% the same. So like, I don't care what your name is, who you are. I mean, how much money you give me doesn't matter. You're not gonna bribe me. We're every single engine that leaves my place is the same. GM cannot do that. They'll never be able to do that. They have never been able to do that.
But let's talk about why. Because the stresses, I mean, 99% of their business is going to be passenger vehicles.
Correct.
Racing is not their primary driver. Now, it's not going away or anything.
No.
It's an important piece. But what they really want to sell is cars and trucks.
Correct.
And when you're going, and it doesn't
0
to 30, those cars don't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. My frickin', 1500 Chevy truck versus your 1500 Chevy truck, I'm not going to notice a difference on.
We're just putting extraordinary stress on them in a racing environment. 4,000ths
on deck height versus you've got 4,000 less than I do. I'm not going to notice that. You're not going to notice that on the street. In a race engine, it's something that can be potentially noticeable, although it's very minute. So, I mean, the one reason why I'm a proponent of taking your brand new engine, taking it apart, letting me, and it doesn't have to be me. I mean, I don't care. I mean, it can be anybody. Any of these engine builders, let them go through it, is more of an insurance policy than anything else.
That's what my brother's always said.
Because what I've seen over the years, and you can ask any engine builder that's certified to rebuild these things, any of them, if they're being honest with you, like if they're going to seriously be honest with you, they're going to tell you about the 1/2,000 bearing clearance they saw. They're going to tell you about the oil pump bolt stripped out and the oil pump fell off when I rolled the engine over, that kind of thing. They're going to tell you about this stuff. If they don't, they're lying to you, and all they're doing is trying to take your money for doing nothing.
Well, that would suck.
Well, and it does suck because that happens.
I'm sure it does. Sure it does.
Which is another. Let's go back to the stand thing. That's where he and I don't get along.
Yeah, it's blueprint.
So if we're gonna tie that together, because that's kind of what this is doing. That's where he and I do not get along. It's where we don't agree. It's where we'll never agree.
Well, I think.
But I understand his point of view. Now, if he'll understand my point of view, then he and I can probably get along and meet in a common ground that will be beneficial for all of racing.
Well, I think a part of this question really kind of leads to, hey, Steve, if I bring you my engine, are you going to get me more power? And truth is, maybe not.
You can call me. You can call me every day of the week, and I'll tell you the same thing. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. What I can tell you is
it'll be legal.
It'll be legal, and it'll be the same as the next guys that went out the door. And I don't care what his name is.
And you've got tight tolerances. You're not going to push it.
No. What we've got is tolerances where I operate, and where anybody with any common sense operates, is not to the edge. We don't do that. We don't go to the edge, because the edge, you have to have idiot tech man factor. And trust me, there's plenty of fucking idiot tech men in the United States. So we don't do the idiot tech man factor thing. We allow for that. So we back it up. We don't go to the edge. And anybody with any sense doesn't go to the edge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really don't know the answer to this. So could could you be in a tech situation if you were an engine builder that pushed it absolutely to the edge, and it was absolutely exactly the most tolerance you could possibly have, and you did that, you were right there in the edge, and a tech man measures it, could heat be a factor that might affect the tolerances?
Well, I'll give you an example of this last week. This last week I had a 602 that was built by an engine builder, and which I'd never named. But anyways, it was built by an engine builder, and this engine, I went out and looked at it before we took it apart. I'm like, oh yeah, it's never been decked. You know, go ahead and take it apart. Because normally what we do is we, take one head off, measure the piston in the hole. I mean, there's a whole process that you do when you do this stuff. Well, being that we were so busy, I was like, hey, I went out and looked at it. I'm like, nope, never been decked. Pull it apart. So the whole entire engine gets pulled apart with a series seal on it, and I look at this thing after it's even apart, and I'm like, it's never been decked, no big deal. It's got the number stamped in it, blah blah blah, all that stuff. And I said, all right, go ahead and set it up, deck it, do all that stuff. Well, I already ordered the seals for it. Well, here's what comes back. It gets set up to get decked. As soon as it goes in the machine, we're like, oh fuck, this thing's been decked. Well, and it had.
How would you not be able to tell?
Time. Well, go back to your time thing, but I had the time to look at it. I just went out and looked at it. I'm like, it's never been decked. Go ahead and friggin' take it apart.
Yeah.
But once we set it up in our machine, and we got to, actually measuring accurately, not, piston in the hole, but like to center line of crankshaft and all that stuff, this block was a 1,000th below what
was legal. So it was an illegal head, and more material.
No, it was an illegal block.
Okay, so more material is gone. It's not like you can put it back.
All right, 1,000th. The human hair is 3 thousandths thick.
Okay.
So 1/3 of a human hair is what this thing was illegal. I can't use that. Yeah. I can't reseal it. So this guy had to buy a block in order to make a legal engine. We don't do that. So that was somebody who either, number one, whoever did it before me, either couldn't measure, or their equipment was off by, 1/3 of a human hair. But that's also somebody who was like trying to push it to the limit.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
Wow. That's a shocker. And I'll bet you hated...
It's a shocker when it costs somebody $1,040 for a damn new block.
I was going to say, I bet you hated making that phone call.
Well, I mean, I hated making the phone call, but I mean, it is what it is. Now, again, I mean, there's nothing that can be done about that particular scenario because I can't prove that this guy did or didn't do it because I already had the whole engine apart. I mean, there's no seals left on it. I mean, there's that scenario. So, but, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. I'm not going to say who it was or anything else because that's not right.
Yeah.
Now, but in a actual tech shed scenario, if that had gone to the tech shed,
that 1,000th would have cost $10,000.
And it was obvious to me this was a mistake, not on purpose.
Right.
Or a mistake or negligence, but it was not on purpose. Had this have gone into the tech shed, the poor dude who would have owned the engine, he'd be out for $365 and be fined however much.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and the engine builder would be out completely.
Well, he's gone. Yeah.
Let me go ahead and ask you a question because we might get some viewers who aren't as familiar with the whole, engine builder process. Pretty much anywhere east of the Mississippi, we have engine builders who rebuild crate engines.
Correct.
And in a lot of other parts, like west of the Mississippi, a lot of times there's a lot of misunderstanding or not understanding our systems on the East Coast, where, especially when we talk about dirt, I know asphalt is an entirely different animal
Asphalt's
here.
a whole different
But
world,
when we talk about dirt racing, and with 604 or 602 crate engines, tell me a little bit about the engine builder, being an approved engine rebuilder for any series. Tell us about what the process is. What are you looking at if you cheat anything up?
When you're an approved engine builder for anybody, I'm going to use Crate Racing USA, which is the Newsom series. I'm going to use Rush, for instance, because to me those are the two strictest sanctioning bodies in the United States. So when you do either one of those, you sign a contract. Whether it be with Rush or whether it be with Crate Racing USA, you're bound by a contract to, and when you place a seal order, in other words, if I rebuild an engine, I have to place a seal order. So in order to place that seal order, I have to give them detailed information on everything I'm doing in the entire engine. And once I place a seal order, they issue the seals. I stamp a build number into the engine, and the seals are permanently tied to me. The seals that I put on it, along with the build number, is permanently tied to me and the racer who has it done. And what's the other?
Well, I think something that's really not understood a lot of times is that you're not cheating up these engines.
No,
You're not
God,
doing,
no.
Tell us what you're doing to them, and then
No.
tell people about the penalty if you were to cheat things
Well,
up.
no, I mean, if I was doing anything wrong, number one, the racer would be, again, in both of those series, would be thrown out for 365. And I would be gone forever. I could no longer build another engine for that racing series. And that's not I'm thrown out for 365 like the guy that owns the engine. I'm done. Not only does that happen, but I open myself up for a lawsuit by the racer, because odds are the racer didn't tell me to cheat the shit up. So I just fucked up and did something wrong. I'm to blame. So that racer can therefore sue me for whatever he wants to sue me for, because maybe he's a winning dude who wins, $30,000 a year. So then I can also be opened up for that lawsuit. So it's a big deal. It's not, Joe Blow's auto parts store down the road gets to rebuild an engine. But we have to we're certified by these builders. Now there's other racing series out there who will allow, which I completely disagree with, who will allow people to get caught with cheated up motors. They'll allow the racer to say that the racer asked, or it was the racer's fault, and then that allows the engine builder to be back in the series.
Nah.
And there's that rule in there, and then there's like another rule where if the engine builder cops to it and says, "Oh, I'm the one that screwed it up," then the racer gets to be allowed to race next year. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's actually in some rule books. If you research some of the crate racing rule books on the East Coast, you'll find this to be true. So to me, that's total bullshit. It needs to be as strict as it is, and there needs to be no leniency.
Well, people have asked me about your engines before, and whether you're cheating them up or anything like that. And
Right.
I tell them, here's the deal. If Steve cheats up an engine, he could lose his house. I mean, because your primary part of your business
Correct. Right
is
now, yes.
crate engines.
Yes.
Now, of course, you could pivot and whatever, but the truth is that's a majority of your business. So if all of a sudden you're kicked out and no longer approved, there goes your business. If you're not making money, you could literally lose your house
Correct.
over it.
Yes.
So yeah, there's no incentive.
I got nothing to gain, everything to lose.
Yeah.
And there's no amount of money. I mean, trust me, I've had people with an extensive amount of money ask me to do shit that they wanted me to do, and I'm like, nope, ain't gonna happen.
I think there might be some cheated up engines out there, because Glenn's saying that there's 27 horsepower difference around here. I don't know what, where that is or what the parameters are. Andy says, maybe like a few in Pro 602 at 311 back in 2012. You shook your head as you were there one night racing with the Carolina Clash and just asked to come into Tech Shed to watch some tech spring pressures by a fellow racer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if we're talking 311, yeah, I mean, I'm not throwing off in that place, but it's run what you're wrong. I mean, their whole fucking dyno rule. We're going to dyno your engine, and if it dynos in some certain area, then, you know, you're good to go. That's all bullshit.
I do have the saying, if you don't tech it, it's not a rule.
No.
So,
exactly. And, you know, as far as like, you know, valve spring, shit like that goes, there's springs out there that will pass, you know, they're illegal springs. Of course, this does not come back on the engine builder because it's something a driver can change. But there's springs out there that will pass tech, depending on how good your tech is. Any tech man worth a shit's going to catch every illegal spring out there.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. John asks, Beyea headers, 2.5-inch turndowns or 3-inch? Honestly, I'm just going to say that.
Turndowns?
Yeah, that's what it says, turndowns. But they're 2 3/4-inch collectors on their headers, so I would just go with their system, right?
Well, no, I mean, hard to say.
Are turndowns going to make a big difference in anything?
No, we tested some Schoenfeld turndowns. It was like 2.5-inch on some Schoenfeld headers, and I'm not throwing Schoenfeld under the bus here. I'm just saying it's what the customer had, and they did not work for shit. No, I've not tried that on the Beyea setup.
Yeah, so don't know.
So my best guess, no, don't run them. Run the 3-inch or the 2 3/4 or whatever, you know, comes with that setup.
All right. So John asks, always hear crate haters arguing they're cheated up if they're winning. I don't believe that at all. Do you think there is much of that out there?
I don't where there's tech. Like if you're running, if you're running late models, for instance, in the southeast, northeast, no, I don't think that you're running as much cheated up shit. If you're running
Track rules
in the Midwest and IMCA, you might want to be looking out because IMCA tech is shit.
Yes. Oh, now here's a really good one here. Neil, it's not really a question. But Andy says thank you, and that's the reason he quit was because of the cheated up stuff.
Yeah.
And that's all it's going to drive anybody to is cheating. Cheating is only going to really hurt the sport over the long run.
Yeah, correct. So I mean, ultimately, you have series that are going to, like you take the Rush series or the or the Durance. I mean, Newsom series, Crate Racing USA.
And a big shout out to Newsom Raceway Parts.
Yep. Mm-hmm. They've actually got people who are tech men who go to racetracks randomly and tech cars. Mm-hmm. There's some other series out there that don't do that. You know, they show up there for anytime you go to a touring race and your 5 or 6 guys don't show up to the touring race at the track they run every week, you pretty much know what's happening there.
It's a good thing to think. All right, so I actually love this comment from Neil McPhillips from Hooker Harness. He says, please keep supporting racers and those businesses that support racing. Racing Connections got my wife out of a pinch over the weekend. So that is super cool. And he says, hashtag #DirtFansCare. Nice. That's a hashtag that Ben Shelton has started. Ben, of course, has started a weekly show as well.
I'm going to pee and get another beer.
Pee and beer, okay. Ben's started a show, Thursday Thoughts, I believe is what he calls his show. And I love tuning in when I can. He does some giveaways and gives his thoughts on racing. Ben, I always say Ben's my hero. He does amazing things, websites and all kinds of things. And he started this hashtag #DirtFansCare, and he's encouraging anyone who wants to buy, let's say it's a t-shirt from a race team, and in any of that, just go ahead when you're posting about it to add that hashtag #DirtFansCare. And in fact, I'm gonna have to check out that hashtag myself to see some of the things that are represented. It'll be a lot of fun, but I think it's a great promotion just to really show that we're all here supporting one another, and we all do things in a different way. I'm trying to show what I feel about racing and keep things alive, obviously by doing live shows, and then over on Winning Motorsports Marketing, doing some different promotions and things over there. So, if there's something that you need as a racer, if any of you are racers or manufacturers, whatever, if there's something I can help with, then reach out to me and see if we can figure something out, because I'm happy to do it. Alrighty, so let's see, sounds good. And Pomotos, I don't know what that means. Fred says hi, and we've got some more people joining here. Steve's getting beer. It's probably time. Yeah, you're getting more beer. Yep. And it's probably about time. And we've been here for like an hour and 15 minutes.
Well, you still got like 55 people, so keep going.
I know this time is just flashed by. So any questions, go ahead and keep dropping them in here. I do have the laptop over here, so it makes it a little bit easier for me to see the questions for sure. Hey, Michael Rigsby said I looked baller in my hat, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big compliment.
I know, it is, absolutely. Yeah, when Dirt on Dirt is watching your show, you're like, hell yeah. He says I look baller in my hat. I am all about some hats, you guys. I do love my hats, don't I?
You do.
I do. All right, looks like we've got a question here. Let's see. So it says, Tyler asks, we were involved in an engine teardown, and nobody was there for their teardown, but everyone was there for our engine to be torn down but us. That is why we no longer run. Oh, I'm not going into all of this, but that's why you don't run Fast Track anymore. And now they're trying to move 525s and don't want to run any sealed series there anymore. I'm sorry to hear that. It seems like it's a...
So there was no... I'm not following the whole deal.
They had an engine teardown, and when their engine was torn down, everybody else was there except for their own team, for whatever reason, and so...
Well, not because of the series, but that doesn't surprise me, because I've seen several different deals for...
Well, you've been a part of a lot of teardowns.
I've been a part of a ton of teardowns,
yeah.
But that doesn't surprise me. I've seen a lot of series that, not Rush, not, Crate Racing USA, but I've seen a lot of series where that's kind of the case, and that's not right.
Yeah.
I've also seen scenarios where, engines are tore down at competing engine builders' shops, and they flow cylinder heads and deem shit illegal because the cylinder head flowed a little bit too much. That's not in the GM Tech manual. So, I mean, there's scenarios like that.
Okay, let's see. Matt asks us, and I think we're gonna have to give you a hypothetical answer on this one. So, because Matt asks, what are your thoughts of Park Jefferson racing last night and the new Raceway Park racing tonight in South Dakota during the COVID?
I have not seen that.
I knew that they were racing in South Dakota, so I think it's, well, I mean, here's what you had in South Dakota. You had an outbreak at one meatpacking plant.
Right.
They contained it, so the whole rest of the state isn't affected.
Yeah. And South Dakota hasn't shut down, so.
Right, because they didn't need to.
Maybe some minor stuff in place or something.
Right. I think it's fantastic. I'm so glad that guys have a place to race. I mean, you know what? I'm going to have to go on Twitter, and I think Kenny Wallace would probably make his way up there if that was the case.
I hope so.
Yeah, because I know Kenny was pretty much, he's been pretty vocal during the whole COVID thing. You know what? I think we did our 15 days to slow the spread. Our 15 days got pushed to 30, and anything beyond that, you have worn out my patience. And we have to remember our purpose. I'm going to be on a soapbox for a moment here.
Again, if you go back to what we watched from some real doctors on the ground.
No, I agree. But not even getting to that. But what I have to say is, it's like, what I'm pissed about is that the goalpost has changed. So the whole idea was to slow the spread so we don't overwhelm our hospitals.
Right.
We've got like 6 people in the hospital from our whole county here.
Yeah.
And our county's shut down. So if a month of time was not enough time for you to prepare, then we need to reconsider the entire fucking healthcare system as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
But now it's turned into just like obey the executive orders. And ironically, interestingly, I'm watching Outlander, and in Outlander they're going into Revolutionary War stuff, and that's where like the Brits decided to, hey, here's how we can control the revolutionaries. We're going to tell them not to gather in groups of any more than 10 people.
Right.
That's how we're going to control them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that didn't really turn out so well for the Brits.
No, it did
Just
not.
saying. Yeah.
And I was pretty stoked yesterday to see that 40,000 people turned out on Huntington Beach, California yesterday to go in the ocean and social distance.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking 40,000 people on Huntington Beach, California, social distancing, and by themselves, because it's completely illegal for them to do it. But they showed up to do it because there's a heat wave in California right now. So you know what?
Well, here's actually,
Wait,
I
fuck the government.
have a solution for that. So, the government in California, in some places, they were pouring sand into skate parks. So I wonder if they could now drop some skate parks onto the beaches.
Yeah, maybe an option too.
No, but tell us what happened with the skate parks that they had to pour sand into.
Dirt bike riders showed up.
Dirt bike riders. So it's the I love to call that the law of unintended consequences. Is how every one thing affects another thing.
Yep.
And I think like if you had asked me that question 2 weeks ago about racetracks opening up. Even was it Lancaster or Travelers Rest? One of them was going to run anyway.
I think Lancaster was the last one that was going to be like, screw you guys, we're
yeah,
running
and they
anyway.
got lots and lots of fame for that. And I think what I was scared of at that time, whether that was 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, is what I would have hated
like
to
month
see is
and
if
a few days
it
ago.
became a catalyst for a major outbreak. And it became media attention, kind of like what we're seeing in Wisconsin right now, that they're trying to say, oh, since we had the voting, we did voting, and like 7 people that voted got
COVID.
Got COVID.
Yeah,
that's not true. Well, were they at Walmart before or after? We don't really know.
I mean,
it's just such weird
pathetic
deal
to me.
So yeah, all right. But Neil loves us. Hopes to see us at a track soon. Iceman Ken Haskell says hi.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt likes our reply about South Dakota. So go South Dakota.
You ever seen the picture of me in Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, where I'm like sitting there drunk as shit because we got a drink cart to Kenny Haskell's room.
Wow, that really narrows things down for me.
Yeah, and me and Kenny are like, this is the sickest I've ever been in my entire life. That's all I got to say.
I've heard the
I
story.
know I told you the story. But
I've heard the story. I don't know that I've seen the pictures. Picture didn't happen. But
it's on my Facebook page.
It'll be fun.
But that was officially the sickest I've ever been in my entire life. And so Bobby Hogue ended up taking me back to my room. I don't remember this, but this is what I'm told. So Bobby Hogue ends up taking me back to my room where I was staying with my buddy George Brown. And George pretty much nursed me through the entire night. And then the next day we had to go to Nashville Speedway, or Nashville asphalt track there. I don't know what it's called.
So did he hold your hair for you?
No, my mom did. Me and my mom sat out on a hill by a tree, and I threw up for like 4 hours after we got the racetrack. And then finally I felt good enough to go into the racetrack. My dad, my brother, and everybody else we're sitting there in the grandstands, and at the time, we were able to watch, Darrell Waltrip was racing there, and Sterling Marlin and all that. So it was, yeah.
So is there, because of that evening, is there a alcohol of some kind that you are no longer partake in? I mean, like, was it a tequila night or was it a something night?
It was a $750 drink cart.
Ooh.
And I remember doing shots of whatever was on there and chasing it with whatever was on there. So I cannot tell you to this day, Kenny Haskell might be able to, but I cannot tell you to this day what the fuck I drank, how much of it I drank. Well, I know how much I drank. It was enough to where I blacked out and I couldn't remember shit. But, I mean, the last thing I remember...
Were you drinking mini bottles?
The last thing I remember was reaching for the orange juice and hitting the jug, and I watched everything in slow motion. I watched the orange juice go slosh, 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 and I sat back and went, oh fuck, and that's the last thing I remember.
Wow. Totally different subject.
Yeah.
So we like to compare our subscription boxes.
Right.
Because my subscription boxes are normally like girly things, right?
Yeah.
And your are guy things. So actually you give me, a lot of times I give away stuff from my subscription boxes, but I don't know, I guess there's maybe some like manly soaps or candles or something I've given you probably from my subscription boxes.
There are some
but you wouldn't
manly
know.
soaps and candles, yeah.
Yeah. But you got me this. You brought this over here, and just a big shout out here to the Black Rifle Coffee Company. This is like a killer mug.
Show them the other side.
I am.
That's the cool side.
Because we've been talking about like freedom and all that, but I love this. Coffee or die. Coffee or die. So, so yeah, it's actually not coffee in here. I've got tea in here. So I have all of my beverages. I have like my beverage smorgasbord.
You had like a michelada and water and tea.
Yeah, I have water with my
and then
essential
like
oils.
a whole thing over there.
Yeah, well, I've got my backup water. I told you. We were talking about the unbucketing. I am not going to be unprepared ever again in my life.
I guess.
It's my plan. It's my plan. All right. Let's see. Don't usually call those days Tuesday, is what John Waters asks you.
Oh. Yeah.
John Waters has drank you out of the table more than once.
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, Waters is like he's a pro.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He is.
He's got the advantage of like when you're like way underwater welding, I guess your lungs expand some certain amount or some sort of crazy shit, and he's got like much better blood flow than I've got, so he can drink more than I can.
That is one of those fascinating or most interesting careers that I've ever known a racer to have, is an underwater welder. So that's just absolutely incredible.
Yeah. That's why he makes the big bucks.
Yeah.
So anybody needs a sponsor, go to John Waters and say, hey, John, need a sponsor, bud.
You know what John will tell him? Hey, I'm in Kate's Winning Motorsports Marketing Program. You should join too.
He would if he,
No, he's in it. He's in my program. He is. Yeah. So that's what he's gonna refer people to me and do the right thing. He's definitely awesome at that. So yeah. I think I don't really have any other thoughts. I mean, we're about COVIDed out right now. At least we got nice weather.
That's probably about it.
Oh, we can talk about what we're eating tonight, because it's nice.
Go ahead.
So we're grilling. Got some chicken breast.
Well, it's like nightly.
Yeah, well.
These days.
I'm pretty excited. I got some great stuff from the farmer's market this week. But for tonight, we're doing some like Italian chicken breasts and some kielbasa.
Yep.
And then we'll figure out, there's probably some vegetables around here someplace. So
Probably so.
So I think that's about all we got for this week.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't see any other questions. Everybody's laughing. Thank you so much for being here. And we're here every Sunday. Is 4:30 our new time now?
Well, it has to be. Yeah.
I think it's a good time.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because the light's nice.
Because like going forward, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not cold out, so.
No. So we're gonna shoot forward, just like Top 5 Tuesday is Tuesdays at 2 o'clock Eastern. Now Unsealed is going to be Sundays. Unsealed Sundays at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Work.
So thank you so much for being here.
Come drink a beer with us.
Yeah.
Because we do, drink and talk.
We do. This is all about having a beer or however many. I don't know. How do you count it and get that big old glass like that?
Well, that's 24 ounces.
Okay.
So technically, I've had like 4 beers, but I probably had like 8 before that. So.
Wow. Yeah. So we have to do this show at 4:30 because if we went any later, it could. Well, it just may not work out well. You might be overly intoxicated.
No, I'd switch to Diet Coke.
Oh, okay.
I don't get overly intoxicated anymore.
No, I'm just teasing you.
I just get a good buzz and I'm good.
I just like to give you hell. All right. Well, thanks, you guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you. I'll see you on Tuesday, but then Steve and I will see you next Sunday.
Maybe.
So, yeah, maybe. Why? Well, unless he decides to be bitchy.
Unless you die of the COVID between now and then.
I'm gonna try not to. I have essential oils.
Yeah,
I'm
she's got essential
good.
oils. Yeah,
I'm
you're good. All right.
See you guys later.
Later.
Bye.